So quitting, the word itself seems to hold a lot of weight and even shame. Don't quit. We are, grown-ups, and we're used to hearing winners never quit and don't give up. And this is what we tell our kids. But sometimes there is power and healing in doing just that. In fact, my next book, Kunur Bahal, is the author of I Quit, and she says there is joy in giving up.
What I've learned through my own personal life, as well as interviewing nearly 40 happy quitters for my book, is that the aphorisms we grew up with, like quitters never win, winners never quit, are really doing a disservice to us living happy, fulfilled lives. It sets us up for really failure, and even viewing quitting as failure, which I really believe we should not be doing. We should view quitting as progress and view quitters as courageous people.
I like that. And so obviously that's why you wrote the book, a book that encompasses quitting lots of things, like things, even people. One is about quitting soda. Why did that make it into your book, and what can we learn from that?
Yeah, well, I set out from the beginning that I wanted to really portray the full expanse of humanity in which one can make a quitting decision, right? And so things that were serious, but also things that were maybe seemingly silly or frivolous. And so Jeff, who shares a story about I quit drinking soda, I thought was going to be kind of a lighter story, but it ended up being really compelling, and precisely because he struggled with it as one would an addiction for over a decade. And it really took having his daughter and kind of seeing his bad habits, her repeating them, to get him to change who he was and to really overcome something that was really honestly difficult for him to do. But he found that motivation in his daughter and wanted to kind of stop that pattern of behavior.
I had to quit Diet Coke for my pregnancies, and I'll tell you, that's no joke. That is hard to do.
Yeah, sugar is a drug. I mean, I love it, but it's a drug. Yeah.
It is. Another was about quitting an engagement, which I've also experienced in my life. Is there a wrong way to quit?
First of all, congratulations. I think we should
thank you
to everyone who quit something that is better off for them.
Dodge that one.
Yeah. I quit a marriage last year, so congrats to me. Yes. But yeah, the quitting an engagement story is Manasi's story, and she quit her 2-year-long engagement 1 month before the wedding. Wow. After multiple postponements of the wedding. And her story is again, really compelling, and one of my favorites if I had to choose a favorite from the book, precisely because to me, she's kind of a cautionary tale around when something is so good on paper and you feel like, I should want this. This should be right for me. This is everything I've wanted. This checks all my boxes. But then you don't listen to yourself and really understand, like, oh, wait a second, even though this is good on paper, this is not good for me. This is not the choice I should be making. And thankfully, she had the courage, to end it before she committed to a life of possible unhappiness. But she really had to overcome a lot of family expectations, a lot of societal expectations, as many people in the book do. I think for every person I interviewed, the only regret they had was that they didn't quit sooner. And what caused them to not quit sooner was quite often, what will other people think, or what will they say, or who am I letting down? And time again, the people I interviewed, when they finally made that decision, they realized, oh my God, the sky didn't fall, like my worst case scenario thinking did not actually come true, so I think if we can learn from that, we can, one, understand, one point of the book is to hopefully, let people understand that particularly in this country, we all have a lot more agency over our lives than we think we do. We just sometimes choose not to use it. And if we can reframe things into thinking that, yes, quitting is a choice, but so is not quitting, and if we look at not quitting as a decisive action we are taking, it might provide us some clarity to know if that decision not to quit is actually meeting our values or not.
Wow. So how would the world be better overall if we embraced quitting?
Change. I work in innovation and creativity, so I am pro change in life and in work. And I think if people really just saw their fears more closely and really understood, okay, am I living my life based on someone else's fears for me? or on my own fears. I think a lot of us spend a lot of our lives living based on other people's fears rather than our own. And so I think individuals, I think society would be better off. People really, again, use that agency over their lives when they have it to really make choices in life and to be bold.
Gosh, I love that message. The power in saying I quit. Thanks, Knorr.